So you know that apartment building or complex you drive by every day? Someone owns it, and it's probably someone on this podcast. Multifamily Rockstars. Join the growing numbers of real estate entrepreneurs who have made the jump to buying multifamily properties for lifetime cash flow. Multifamily Rockstars, using OPM for an OMG ROI. Now, here are your hosts, Rod Cleef and Mark Nagy.
Welcome back to Multifamily Rockstars. So this is where we interview people that are freaking crushing it in this business, and we show you guys the inside scoop as to how multifamily investors are creating incredible success, not just in their businesses, but also in their lives. And as always, I've got my co-host, who's the director of our massive action team for the Warrior Mentorship Group, Mark Nagy, on. Mark, what's up, brother? What's got you excited, bro?
Man, pumped up for Orlando boot camp coming up soon, and just excited as always to talk to another awesome guy here today and hear his story.
Yep. So today we've got Jason Markowitz on, and Jason is a really cool guy. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's been in the franchise business for over 20 years, and he owns 140 doors. And let's have some fun today. Jason, welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks, Rod. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate being here, guys.
Yeah. So why don't you take a minute and expand on your story a little bit, talk a little bit about, how you got started, and then really why you got into real estate, and talk about that journey a little bit as well.
Yeah, you bet. Glad to. We've been self-employed health and wellness entrepreneurs, is probably the best way to describe it, owning and operating fitness facilities all the way from upstate New York down through Memphis, Tennessee for about the last 20 years. And we've learned obviously a ton. That's a very, very tough business, very competitive business. We've learned a lot. My wife and I would travel around the country back about 15 years ago and just search for markets that were primed for opportunity for us. So it enabled me to get really familiar with different markets outside of our Chicagoland DMA where I grew up. So real fortunate for that. And, being in the fitness business, as competitive as it is, it really opened our eyes to diversification and looking at things that are more stable, that produce cash flow. We've opened many businesses, both fitness and otherwise, that aren't necessarily the most stabilized cash flow year 1, year 2, year 3. So that's honestly what attracted some other franchise brands and obviously into multifamily. And it's just that diversification, that stability, and what can be predictable if you do a good job.
Right. Well, talk about, your real estate journey a little bit. I think when you joined the Warrior programs a little over a year ago, you had a little over 20 units. You've done 100 plus more in the last year. Talk about your first deal, maybe a little bit, or your first big deal. Just give us a little background on, how you got rolling in that, because that's obviously completely different than, Massage Envy franchises or other franchises like that.
Yeah.
So
It kind of, started back when we were opening our businesses. You go through the LOI process, you're dealing with commercial brokers, you're negotiating that and getting through the lease. So we did that just internally for our business, not being a broker for many, many years. So about 4 years ago, I ended up getting my commercial broker's license in an effort to do a lot of our own development internally, whether that's find new locations to build. And that kind of led me into a couple single family homes about 4 years ago. And then in 2017, 18, my business partner and I, we did a joint venture and we bought our first 8 unit. We just said, hey, we want to scale. Let's just do it. And this was before I joined the Warrior program. And we dove in. We did as much research as we could. We teamed up. We got a regional bank to finance it. We did it. And then I started doing more research, came across you and what you guys do with the Lifetime podcast and the great work you guys do. And it's been incredible in the last year. That really has enabled us to grow and scale much quicker. We've added 100 doors this year. Just being around the group of people that you guys put in the room and in the network has been tremendously valuable. So it's been awesome. So thank you for that.
Nice. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, thank you for the shout out. Appreciate it. So what markets are you in, Jason?
So right now we own most of our stuff in Illinois. So I'm about 30 miles south of the city of Chicago. We're outside of Cook County. Most of our stuff is in Kankakee and Will County, where we operate some other businesses. So we're able to cross utilize some of the staff that we have too, and that's enabled us to be kind of vertically integrated out of the gates. We have a property management division where we do our own management. We've got our own little construction company. We do our own remodels. So it's enabled us to have a really sound team and give the team members some good opportunity too, which is fun.
Wow. Well, hold on, Mark. I want to ask one more follow-up. Forgive me for interrupting. So you're self-managing your assets and you're doing your own construction. And you had that experience from helping build out franchise locations, things like that. Is that where that came from?
That's exactly
Great framework.
Right.
Okay,
yeah,
awesome.
Exactly right.
Okay, all right. Well, that's awesome. And now you're just one more question, Mark. Sorry, being hog here. What do you have a team put together? Tell me a little bit about that. Particularly since you joined the Warrior Program, have you aligned with other Warriors, or talk a little bit about that and the role you play, and maybe if there are other team members, what they do.
Yeah. So the team that we've been able to build over the years, we have a few internally. We have about 10 team members that work at our home office that we've been able to leverage to support different things with underwriting internally. We have a CFO that does all that for us here. Our property management team came from a couple admin support team members on our health club side that are able to cross-utilize and help us manage the properties, and they're partners with us in the property management division. So a lot of those resources have been super helpful. And then when it comes to the Warrior Group, I've teamed up with a couple of Warriors. And we did our first syndication about 3 months ago. We closed a 43 unit in Illinois.
I saw that. Congratulations, bud. That's awesome.
Thank you. So that was really helpful. Our role in that was, sourcing a deal. It was an off-market deal. One of the brokers in my office had it coming up to market, so we were able to get a kind of a pre-screen at it. And I teamed up a couple other Warriors. We found a good syndication attorney that did a great job for us. And we made a few phone calls. We brought in basically 4 friends and family into the deal. We raised about $750,000. It was about a $2.6 million deal. So we thought it was a good one to get our feet wet in the
Perfect. And this is you're managing this one as well. Is this in your backyard? All right.
It is. Awesome. Yeah, it's about 30 minutes from us. So it's right here in our wheelhouse.
Perfect.
What do you think are 2 or 3 things that you look for, Jason, when you're evaluating a deal that make it a good deal for you?
You know what, we're looking for, C-class properties. We're looking for the opportunity to increase rents like a lot of folks out there are. We like the value add renovations, having an internal construction company. We're not afraid to do that right out of the gates. And we're also looking for an opportunity, having some infrastructure with some really good local management where we are operating today here in the Midwest. We feel like we do a good job with the management side of things too. So we're able to, nurture the tenants and create relationships, and a lot of times lower costs through operating expenses and do things that can make the property run more efficient. So those are some of the key things we look for. We typically look at the per unit price, obviously. And then if we can get, 1% plus then in rent, as you back out those numbers, we're usually pretty excited about it.
Nice. I remember back in the day, I was actually able to get 2%, which was just unbelievable. I'd buy properties for 20, 30 grand and rent them for, $400, $600 a month. And I was like, why isn't everybody doing this? And it was right after a crash. So everybody was shell shocked, so I gobbled up a few hundred, actually almost 1,000 houses that way, and some multifamily. So you talked about increasing rents, and I just want to hammer that home for those of you that may be new on the show, why we love commercial real estate. Any increase to the rents, the net income, any increase to the net income, we call it the net operating income, or NOI, is an exponential increase to the value, sometimes in the 17 to 20 per dollar range. So, I'll give you an example of this. We've got an asset in Texas, for example, 200. Well, let me give a smaller example. We've got a 100-unit asset in Ohio, and we're raising the rents there $650. It got trashed by a tornado, and that's of course that's a significant increase. That's not normal. Just let me pre-frame that. But that increase is a $12 million instant increase in value on a 101 unit complex, which is why we love this business. And, so it's so easy with small increases to have small increases in rents or increases in the NOI to have incredible increases in value. And so I just want to hammer that home for a minute for those that were brand new. So you've been kind of in the CEO role in all of this, or are you involved in the broker relationships, things of that nature as well? Are you out there building those relationships?
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest place I spend my time, Rod, is nurturing broker relationships, trying to find off-market deals, doing a lot of hunting. When we get a deal that we can bring through, we have good banking relationships, so the financing is usually relatively easy to obtain. And then from there, like in the syndication we did, we're obviously operating the property, but we also made some calls and we're able to raise some money. So I think
nice. Any roadblocks or issues that you had on any of the deals that you'd like to share, and maybe the lesson that you got out of them?
You know what? I mean, as you get into it, you get a little more confident. You expect some of the tenant things that come up, right? Like we had a flood in one of them in the basement that we had to address pretty quickly upon closing. And you just, our focus has been on just having the resources available. So when something happens, you know where to go, and I think the more that we've done over the last year, the more experience that we've gotten, and it makes us more confident to where you don't get those surprises. And as they do come up, you know where to go to solve them, right? Example of the water damage, ServPro is on speed dial now for us. So we can, we can get them in phone call.
The water extraction company you're talking about, the big national one.
Yeah.
They're not cheap, but they're insurance driven. They're insurance driven. So they're very quick. Got it. Yeah. Yeah, we invested in some of those blowers. I even have some on stage to keep me cooled off. Those rotating blowers that cool things off, and mold remediation, stuff like that. And some of the larger assets that we actually have that stuff in house for when stuff like that happens.
Smart. That's great.
Well, Jason, I know you're involved in franchises. You're talking about making calls to brokers, building relationships, all this stuff you got going on. What's some advice you think you'd give to listeners that feel that they're quote unquote too busy to do this and build this business?
That's a great question, Mark. I think the key word that comes to mind is team. Find some great people to mentor you, to work with, to be able to help you with different parts of the business, to help get you either started or keep you going to that next level. So I think, for me, it's been critical. Like I said, we have a great team internally here at our office that does a great job. That's getting involved in the business. Meeting the warriors that we've met over last year have been just tremendously helpful and just super powerful when it comes to solving problems and brainstorming solutions as things come up. So I think the key thing for somebody who's too busy or feels like life's too busy is to really think about why you want to do it and why that's important. Because I think that'll motivate you to do it a little bit more every day, and then surround yourself with the right people to go do it.
Love it. Well, you're obviously very motivated. I see Extreme Ownership book behind you. I see your sign on the wall. Some people want it to happen. Some people wish it would happen. And some people freaking make it happen. I love that. Love that quote. So by the way, guys, if you're interested in the Warrior program, I think, obviously you can hear how incredible it is. And just the ability to have support when you're going through a deal. You can pick up the phone, call anybody that's likely encountered what you're encountering. Is just that in itself is invaluable. But if you're interested in applying, text the word crush to 72345. Again, that's the word crush, so we can help you freaking crush it in this business, to 72345. And our Warriors now own over 47,000 units. And I haven't even been teaching 4 years yet. So I'm so freaking proud of that. And, it's just an incredible group. But so let's talk about that for a minute. You are obviously very driven. You're very motivated. You've got the signs. You've got the books. Yes, I see other quotes behind you there. What is the why for you? What's the driver?
I think for me, it's, my family. I've been married 22 years. We got 2 beautiful kids, a 13-year-old and 11-year-old. They're what get me going in the morning. They keep you up late and make you do the things that are, kind of above and beyond, I guess. That's what
building a legacy.
Building a legacy for sure. And showing them, showing the kids especially how to get up and work hard and just get after it, and hopefully they're observing those life lessons. And that's real important to me.
Is there something you think that multifamily has been able to give you and your family that your other franchises and businesses haven't?
Yeah, for more time, Mark, for sure. That's what motivates me to get more involved in business. That's what motivates me to do 1,000 doors next year instead of 100 this year. Is that, right? Like, we have pretty labor-intensive businesses that we also operate. So I'm looking to really transition that into multifamily more aggressively to save more time, to be able to spend with the kids and do some of those family things that we all want to do, right?
Well, that I spend time talking about the importance of that family time. Yes. I mean, I don't know if you've been to one of my boot camps, I spend a lot of time on that. I've got, a weekly planning process we talk about and have you, of course you have to sacrifice some things to do anything, to change anything in life. You've got to, grind for a little bit. So, for a few years, so you can live the rest of your life like, nobody can, most people can't. So, have you had to make some sacrifices, number one, and have you paid attention? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot here. I guess I am putting you on the spot. Have you paid attention to that so that when you're with the people that matter, you are with them, you're present, you're focused, you're there?
Yeah. I think like most of us that are entrepreneurial in nature, it's go, 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 right? 24/7.
Right.
So it's really, and I have that addictive personality where it's hyped up times 10. So I really have tried over the years to become better at being able to focus my energy when I'm at home, to be more present. And it's for sure not perfect. I'm a work in progress for sure. But I do try to consciously focus at it. I'm getting to the age, my kids are getting to teenagers. So the time they want to spend with us is getting more limited. Mom and dad aren't as cool as they used to be 5 years ago.
Right.
But the time that we do spend together, I really try to kind of hone in on it because it is special time and it goes quick. You get that sense as they get older.
Nice.
So what are some things then that you think you have done or listeners should do that they should maybe cut out of their life to get more done or spend more time with their family or focus better? What do you think people should cut out of their life to do these things?
Yeah, I mean, the top ones for me, Mark, are news, social media, and some of those things. The only time I really go on social media is to look at some of the stuff Rod and you guys do with the lifetime cash flow stuff, and stuff that relates to some of my business and personal goals, are people that I follow online. Other than that, I try to stay off some of those other channels that can be very distracting. And I think the news and TV and Netflix and all that stuff can be a huge distraction. So I think, for me, it's always been about trying to have good clarity every day of what we want to accomplish, and trying to cut out the noise, if you will. So I think having clarity on what you're shooting for personally and professionally is a good starting point. And once you have that clarity, just kind of everything else kind of moves to the side. And that's what I've been trying to get better at over the years. And it's hard.
Great answer. Great answer. Now listen, you're more experienced in leadership than some of the other people we've had on the show, and you've been in the business world, an entrepreneur for decades, and so and I really believe everybody watching or listening to the show is a leader and a budding leader. So let me ask you this: what is a characteristic that you feel, or a couple of them? You don't have to limit it to one; you can do several if you like, but characteristic or several that a leader should possess to lead effectively and compassionately, or whatever descriptor you'd want to put in there.
Yeah, I think a couple of things come to mind. One, I think all leaders, need to stay growth minded and constantly learn and evolve and get better themselves. I know that's a big focus that I try to do, is just every day get better, so that I'm never a limiting behavior for anybody on our team. And I can try to be a resource to help them as things come up in their life. And I think having a great ability to connect with people and really care about people in a genuine way is something that, I know when I'm looking for leadership or talking to my mentors, that's something that really matters to me. So I think having a great way to connect with people and communicate with them and care, and always constantly strive to be better yourself, I think are some key factors that, that I typically would look for.
Nice. Yeah. Nice.
Last one for you, Jason, here. If you were coaching somebody, what do you think that they should learn? What would you make sure that they learn in the first 30 days of taking action on this business?
30 days in the multifamily business, honestly,
or 90 days, just first blush. Yeah, let's not limit it to 30. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many different moving parts of the business, as you guys know. I think, for me, want to dive in a little bit deeper, as we have over the last year, being involved, and honestly, a group like yours with the lifetime cash flow has been key. So if somebody came to me and said, "Hey, I want to do this," I would try to share with them some of the stuff we've done, but I would honestly try to plug them in with a resource like you guys have built, because I think it does a great job of teaching you all the X's and O's in the business, because there is so much. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot of people that can do different parts of the business, and you can build a team around that. So I think being resourceful and getting around the right group, and then just taking action. And then once you're in there, take action in different ways, and you'll find your first deal, and you'll get some momentum, and you'll keep chipping away at that and get more confidence as you go. So that would be my 60-second spiel to somebody.
Sure. No, that's really helpful. And there are a lot of listeners that listen to my show that haven't taken action yet for whatever reason. Maybe they're in analysis paralysis, they're analytical. And I got to tell you, some of the most successful students we have are the ones that are the most analytical, and they're the hardest to get to freaking take action, because they have to check off every little box before they make a move. But let's say, regardless of their personality, whether they're analytical or not, they haven't taken action, but they know they want more out of life. What would you say to that person to add value to that person today?
Yeah, I would The question you asked me early on, what's your why? Why are you getting up in the morning? What are you doing this for? I would really encourage them to think deeply about that. What's inspiring them to do the things they want to do in life? What are they looking to get out of life? And I think if somebody really puts some thought into that and can write that down, I think that's the spark plug to go out there and take more action. Whether it's join their group or do something else.
That's the burning desire. Like Napoleon Hill says in Think and Grow Rich, you've got to have that to push through fear, to push through that analysis paralysis, to push through limiting beliefs, to get uncomfortable, right? To make this happen for yourself. Well, listen, brother, it's a pleasure to see you. Are you going to make it to the boot camp or are you busy?
You know what? My son has a football. The last football, he's an 8th grader, is a football tournament that weekend. So I'm sorry to miss it. I was on, obviously, the last 2 you've done virtually.
Right.
It's been awesome. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, we've got a warrior only event coming up the first and 2nd of April. It's just warriors, a couple hundred warriors there, which is a lot of fun. We did one, not that long ago. So highly encourage you to try to come to awesome. You'll be very glad you did. All right, brothers. Good to see you, Marks. Good to see you, my friend. Right. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Rod. Thanks, Mark.
So that apartment building or complex you drive by every day? Someone owns it, and it's probably someone on this podcast. Multifamily Rockstars. Join the growing numbers of real estate entrepreneurs who have made the jump to buying multifamily properties for lifetime cash flow. Multifamily Rockstars, using OPM for an OMG ROI. Now, here are your hosts, Rod Cleef and Mark Nagy.